Good evening, students. Today I'll teach you chapter number 10, light, for class 10 physics, and important part of it is reflection of light. So before starting with this chapter, I would like to say that share, like and subscribe my channel. First is properties of light. Light is a form of energy which enable us to see things around us. So whatsoever we see things in our room or in our house or in surroundings is just because of one form of energy known as light. Many objects like sun, stars, electric bulb, tube light, torch, candle, you must have observed that they emit light, their own light, and that's why they are known as luminous objects. Whereas certain other objects are known as non-luminous objects because they cannot emit their own light. Examples are flower, chair, table, book, tree, etc. Next important property is that light always travels in a straight line. The fact that a small source of light casts a sharp shadow of an object tells us that the light travels in a straight line. So whatsoever comes in the path of a light, that is going to obstruct its path and will cast a shadow. Next important property is that according to the wave theory, light consists of electromagnetic waves. So they are not dependent on material medium. That's why light can travel through vacuum. Light can travel through a medium like atmosphere, or it can easily travel through the space. So it does not need any material medium for its movement. Light has a dual nature. That means it has double nature. Light exhibits the property of both wave and particles. Phenomena of diffraction, that is bending of light at the corner of tiny objects, polarization of light waves, obey wave nature. Whereas phenomena of reflection and refraction are explained on the basis of particle nature. So particle nature and wave nature are exhibited with the light. So whatsoever phenomena is concerned, it changes its nature from particle to wave or wave to particle. So that is another important property of it. Next is reflection of light. When light falls on the surface of an object, some of it is bent back. The process of sending back the light rays which fall on the surface of object is reflection of light. As you can see here that the light is coming from the torch. It is projected toward the mirror. It falls on the mirror or a shiny surface, then it is reflected back, and that reflected waves you can see easily. The reflection of light is shown when a beam of light coming from the torch fall on the reflecting surface. It is sent back by the mirror in another direction and we can see the reflected light. Now next thing is that most of the objects reflect light which fall on them. So most of the objects around us like wall or mirror or shiny surface, they have capacity to do the above phenomena. Some objects reflect more and some reflect less light. The objects like plane mirror, silver surface, aluminium surface, they reflect more light because they are polished and have shining surface, whereas materials like wall, table surface, they are unpolished and dull, so they reflect less light. So this depends on the polishing of the surface whether they reflect more or less light. Now next topic is reflection of light from plane mirror. A plane mirror is a thin, flat, smooth sheet of glass having a shiny coating of silver metal on its one side. So if we want to make a plane mirror, what we will take is a sheet of glass, and behind it will be the coating of silver, and after that a paint will be coated. The silver coating is protected by a red paint. The aluminium being a cheaper metal, then silver is also used as a coating in the mirror these days. In science lab, a small rectangular strip is used to perform certain experiments on reflection of light. So in our diagram, as I am showing you, the plane mirror is represented by a straight line having a number of short oblique lines on one surface. So in the coming lecture, I'll tell you how plane object is shown in the ray diagrams. Now in this diagram, as you can see here, there is a rectangular glass mirror. and one surface of it is shining or reflecting, whereas the opposite surface is painted with red color. So that is not reflected, that is painted surface. This kind of strip is used in our laboratories for the science experiments. Now let us see very few important terms related with the reflection through the plane mirror. First one is incident ray. Incident ray, second is point of incidence, third is reflected ray, fourth normal, 5 angle of incidence, and 6 is angle of reflection. Let us study it one after the other. First is incident ray. The ray of light which falls on the mirror surface is called as incident ray. As you can see here, this is a mirror surface. The light which is falling on the surface is the incident ray. Now point of incidence, the point at which the incident ray falls on the surface is known as point of incidence. Now this is point of incidence where this incident ray is projected on the mirror or striking the mirror. Next is reflected ray, the ray of light which is sent back by the mirror after reflection. Next is normal, this is normal. It is a line at right angle to the mirror surface at the point of incidence. So you take a point of incidence, make a perpendicular on it, that will be a normal to the surface of mirror. Next is angle of incidence. The angle between incident ray and normal is known as angle of incidence, whereas angle of reflection is the angle between reflected ray and normal is angle of reflection. So these are important. This is important terminology regarding this plane mirror. Next is law of reflection of light. Plane mirror, through a plane mirror, that is law of reflection of light. First law is that according to it, the incident ray, reflected ray and normal at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. Okay, so incident ray, reflected ray and normal will be in the same plane. If you choose the plane of a sheet of paper, all of them will lie in that plane. If you select them in a perpendicular plane, all of them will lie in the perpendicular plane. So it doesn't happen that one ray will lie in the sheet of paper plane and other will be perpendicular to it. No. So first law say that all the rays lie in the same plane. Okay. Now next one is second law of reflection. According to this reflection law, angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. So whatsoever be the angle of incidence will be the angle of reflection. If you select angle of incidence as 45 degree, angle of reflection will also be 45 degree. And if you reduce this angle of incidence to 35 degree, automatically this angle R will be reduced to 35 degree. The second law of reflection means that if angle of incidence is 45 degree, then angle of reflection is also 45, and if the angle of incidence is changed to 35, then the angle of reflection will also be 35 degree. In every case, the angle of reflection remains equal to the angle of incidence. Now next one, another example of it, second law of reflection is then a ray of light which is incident normally or perpendicularly to the surface of mirror. What happened to it? Now this is a ray of light which is projected perpendicular to the mirror surface. Let us see what happened to it. Now this ray which is projected normally or perpendicularly will go back, will be reflected back along the same plane, will be reflected back on the same path, because angle of incidence and angle of reflection for such a ray of light are 0. Okay, so if they are projected, angle is 0, that's why they will coincide with each other. Please note that law of angle of reflection apply to all type of mirrors, whether they are plane mirror or spherical mirrors, but certainly law of reflection will be followed, without which rays cannot be reflected back. Now next important topic is characteristics of image formed by a plane mirror. First characteristic is that image formed in the plane mirror is always virtual and direct. This is an object, you are looking here, this is an object, the image formed is always virtual and direct. So what type of object is there? Same is the image, so it is virtual and direct, it exactly looks same. So image of the same size as that of the object, whatsoever size here of the object same is the size of the image. It is neither smaller or larger. Next is image is at the same distance from the mirror as object from the mirror. Now distance between the this mirror and image, that is d1 di, is equal to do, mean distance between the mirror and object, both are same, so do will be equal to di. This means if you place this object or bottle at 5 meter from the mirror, image will also be 5 meter behind the mirror. Okay, so what is distance between the image and object will be 10 meter in that case. So this rule is also followed by the plane mirror. Next is image is laterally inverted, laterally reversed. So whatsoever written on the bottle here on the object, it will be reversed here in the image. For example, ambulance is written reversed in its van, and when you see it through the mirror, your plane mirror, you find it absolutely erect. So that means it is laterally reversed. Another example is that if you check your left hand in the plane mirror, you will see that instead of left hand, your right hand will be raised out. Okay, so that is called as laterally reversed. Next one is that uses of plane mirrors. First is that plane mirror are used to see ourselves. We use it as a dressing mirror. Now if you look here, this is used as a dressing mirror. Second is plane mirror are fixed on the inside wall of certain shops like jewelry shop, so they look quite bigger. This is the size of the this shop, and it will look bigger than that because of the plane mirror. Next is they are fitted at the blind end of some busy roads, just like this. It's a sharp curve, and where this plane mirror is installed, so that you can see it through the what is happening on the other side of the road, and accidents can be prevented. Next is we can use it in the periscopes. If we want to see something through the periscope, we should project these plane mirrors at a 45-degree angle, so reflection will occur and you can see the object at a different height, from the different height. Next is reflection of light from the curved surfaces. Now we will deal with next one, plane surface is over. We will discuss with the spherical mirrors. We will deal with the spherical mirrors. So far we have discussed reflection of light from plane mirror, but now we will discuss it through the spherical mirror. When a parallel beam of light fall on the plane mirror, they are in the parallel beam, so parallel mirror can change the direction of an incident ray. It does not converge or diverge the parallel beam. One thing is that in plane mirror, object and image look similar. They do not converge the rays coming from the object, nor they diverge the rays. So object does not look smaller or bigger in size. Now we will study and we'll see that size will change with the spherical mirror. Here I am taking a spherical mirror is whose reflecting surface is part of a hollow sphere of glass. For example, if you take a sphere of glass which is hollow from inside, cut it and you will find that this will become a mirror. These mirrors are of two types. One is concave mirror and another can be a convex mirror. If you take a part of the hollow sphere like that and inside surface is polished, inside surface is reflecting and outside bulging surface is polished, then it will become a concave mirror. Okay, so concave mirror is spherical mirror whose reflection of light takes place at the concave surface. Concave is toward the cave, surface is reflecting, so such a mirror is known as a concave mirror. Now in this case, real and inverted image will be formed. A real image is such an image which is formed by actual intersection of rays. For example, parallel rays are coming, they are striking the surface of concave mirror and are joining at focus. They actually join at focus. You can see these rays joining at the focus. That is what is called as a real image. But this image is inverted. Inverted mean opposite. For example, a cup is placed at quite a large distance. So the rays are coming and forming its focus, smaller image at the focus, just like this. See that this image is a focus, this is a image of cup which is formed at the focus through the concave mirror, and it is quite small in size than that of the actual one. So this is how you can identify that this is a concave mirror where a real and inverted image is formed in this case. Next one is a convex mirror. Now convex mirror is a spherical mirror where reflection of light takes place at the convex surface, that bulging out surface. Now this time this is a bulging out surface of the spherical glass which we have made as a reflecting surface. When rays fall on them they will spread apart. This is what is called divergence. This is a divergence property. As a result, if we project these rays back, they are going to meet at one point, that is focus. Okay, so this is what is you can see here, this is a convex surface which is showing a image of building. Building is quite big, but the image formed is of course real, virtual and direct. Okay, but it is smaller in size and it is formed somewhere behind the mirror here, convex mirror. So image formed is a virtual, mean you cannot see these rays, where are they going, but they are joining somewhere on the surface of mirror, and they are erect image. Erect mean just like a building, it will be, it is not opposite, it is just like building, so that is an erect image. So students, concave mirror form real and inverted image, whereas convex mirror form virtual and erect image. Now interesting fact I am going to show you is the reflection of through the spoon. Take a new spoon and see your face through inside and outside surface through it. Now this is a concave surface through which you eat, that is a concave surface, that will always form a real and inverted image, whereas outside bulging surface is a reflecting surface through which virtual and direct image will be formed here. Now front side of the shining spoon is a concave mirror where inverted image is formed because of convergence property. Now this is be formed because of convergence property, but this is formed by the divergence property. Here convergence property mean where the rays will combine together after reflection and they form real and inverted image, whereas in this case rays they spread apart and will form a virtual and direct image. So this is a convex mirror, whereas this is a concave mirror. I hope you understood about the concept behind them. Let us see what is difference between concave mirror and convex mirror. First is that a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inward is a concave mirror, whereas a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved outward is a convex mirror. Okay, so this is a reflecting surface which is curved inward, whereas if reflecting surface is curved outward, this is a convex mirror. Second is a parallel beam of light falling on this mirror converges at a point after reflection. You know that the parallel beam of light that will show divergence. Now this is it shows a converging mirror, it's a diverging mirror. So that is difference between concave mirror and convex mirror. Students, now let us see another concept regarding spherical mirrors, that some very important terms of spherical mirrors. First is a center of curvature, radius of curvature, pole and principal axis of a spherical mirror. Just see and try to understand from this diagram. This is a spherical ball which we have taken, glass ball, from which a part of the mirror is cut. This dash is known as aperture. Okay, and the center of the mirror is known as pole. And if you meet this pole or center with this pole with the center of the sphere, this is called a center of curvature, which is generally if you take a circle, the center of circle is called center. Here it is a center of the sphere, you call it as a center of curvature. And the distance between center of curvature and the pole is known as radius of curvature. Of course, this is a radius in the circle. Okay, and if you join this pole with the center of curvature and extend this line, this is known as principal axis. right? This is for regarding concave mirror. If you come for the convex mirror, bulging out surface is a reflecting surface and inner surface is polished, right? Again, this is a pole which is lying on the surface. This is the only point which is lying on the surface of the mirror. Mm dash is the curvature again. C is the center of curvature. Distance between P and C is R, that is radius of curvature. And if you extend this line, this is known as principal axis. One thing is that here radius of curvature or center is on the left hand side for the concave mirror, whereas center of curvature for the convex mirror is on the right hand side of the mirror. Let us see these terms. Now you will be able to understand them. First is center of curvature of the spherical mirror. It is the center of the hollow sphere of glass of which mirror is a part, represented by C. Center of curvature is not a part of the mirror. It lies outside, that is on the left or right side of the mirror. Second is radius of curvature. It is the radius of hollow sphere of glass of which the mirror is a part. CP, that is line between center of curvature and pole, is the radius of curvature and represented by R, pole. Third is pole. It is the center of the spherical mirror and P is the pole. Next is principal axis. The straight imaginary line passing through the center of curvature and pole is known as principal axis. XY is the principal axis. Now next is aperture of the mirror. Now this portion of the mirror from which the reflection of light takes place is aperture. Mm dash is aperture. Next one is principal focus of a concave mirror. We will deal with the next very important term, that is principal focus, because of which there are various uses of these mirrors, whether that is of a concave mirror or convex mirror. Focus is a very important term for it and we will deal it one after the other. Now principal focus of a concave mirror is a point on its principal axis to which all the rays converge after reflection from the concave surface. Now rays are coming parallel, they are striking the reflecting surface and they converge at one point, that is focus. Okay, now students, you can see in this diagram that focus is at a half length between the pole and center of curvature. This is at half of it. Okay, so this means if this is R and this is F, that is focal length. Focal length is a distance between focus and pole is focal length. This means radius of curvature is double that of the focus, because center of curvature is at a double distance from the focus, so radius of curvature is at a double distance from the focal length. Let us see how to find out focal length of a concave mirror in our laboratory or by ourselves. You project a concave mirror on a table and project it toward a very distant object outside the window, and in between there is a screen is present here. This screen which is projected on the stand may be a sheet of paper. Now move this screen in such a way so that you get a clear real and inverted image on its surface. Now this point where you get the real inverted image but a sharp one is a focus of it, and the distance between the concave center of the concave mirror to that of the screen is a focal length. So you can easily measure this focal length with the help of a steel scale. From here to here you can measure it. In laboratory generally it comes out to be 16 to 19 centimeter in reading when you measure it. So this is how you can measure in laboratory also the focal length when you project a distant object from the surface. So the focus of an image is in front of it, It is represented as FP, and you can see it in the diagram. Tree is at a far distance from us, so the rays coming from it are parallel. An image of the sun can also be produced by the concave mirror in the similar way, and you can project it on the paper. Okay, and after half an hour or 35 minutes you can see that the part of the paper where all the rays were converged, after reflection that will be burnt out. Okay, this is because of the converging property of the concave mirror, that it can easily burn a paper if it's of high focal length. Now next one is principal focus and focal length of a convex mirror. Here this is a convex mirror where reflecting surface is a bulging out surface. Parallel rays are coming, they are striking the surface and will be converged out, diverge out. These are diverging, rays are diverging. And if you see, image is certainly formed, which is small in size, as we have seen earlier, image of the building that was small, virtual and erect, and image is formed behind the mirror, between the pole and center of curvature of it. So it is on the right hand side. A parallel beam of light is incident over the convex mirror. Each ray of light is reflected and diverged by convex mirror. A convex mirror forms a virtual and erect image situated behind the mirror. Image is smaller in size than the image. So this is divergence. Students, this is divergence property where after striking the mirror, reflected rays, they are spreading apart. That is a divergence. Next one is relation between radius of curvature and focal length. I have already shown you that there is a relation between radius of curvature and focal length. Now focal length, suppose, is a f. This f is equal to r by 2. It is at a half distance from the radius of curvature. So if we take radius of curvature as 20 centimeter, so our focus will be 10 centimeter. So you can easily see. Students, there is a significance for the focal length is 10 centimeter, means plus 10 centimeter. This plus sign is given when the focus is on the right hand side of the mirror, and it is a convex mirror because focus is on the right hand side. And if this focal length is minus 10 centimeter, then it means that it is a concave mirror because focal length is negative. So focal length is used to determine the nature of the mirror, whether that's a concave mirror or convex mirror. Next thing is uses of concave mirror and convex mirror. You will be interested to know about uses. Of course, there are very important uses of concave and convex mirror. Let's deal with the uses of convex mirror first. Convex mirror forms virtual erect, smaller and sharp image. That is one important big property of convex mirror because of which it is used for various situations. First is that convex mirror is used inside the building. If you see here scene of the building inside, that is very clear where the image formed is smaller in size, virtual and erect. You can see everything inside the building, but that is in a small form. Here also cars are very small in size. This is another building scene. So you can see that inside because of the small image formed but virtual and erect. The reason is same, that divergence property. Second is convex mirrors, they are used in vehicles as a side mirror. Side mirror is there where you can see everything coming behind. These cars, they are very small in size, but you can easily assess the distance between them and you, and they are virtual and erect. That is why such kind of mirror are known as rear view mirror, because they are able to see, diverge the rays, make a sharp virtual erect image, and shows the distance also between you and the next car. Next is the use of convex mirror in magnifying glass. Students, it can also act like a magnifying glass. How can you make this magnifying glass? Convex mirrors, take convex mirror, two convex mirrors, mean with bulging out surface, and don't take it a polished one. When you join them together, they are going to form a magnifying glass. And if you see a magnifying glass, you will find that up and below the surface of this glass is always bulging out. That means convex mirrors are joined together, and when they are joined together, they have a capacity to magnify the image of an object. Next is convex mirrors are used for security purposes. You can see here this is a full shop where all the things are visible inside, and a person is purchasing. If a shopkeeper is sitting on side, he can easily observe what this person is doing. So that is why it is of quite important use. So this also can be used in ATM of bank customers where the security is required. So there are various important uses of convex mirror. Let us see what are uses of concave mirror. Now concave mirror give a varied kind of uses. For example, they can form a virtual erect and enlarged image. Students, convex image was able to make virtual erect and smaller image, but at one condition, concave mirror can also form virtual erect image, and that is enlarged. It is only possible when you take this mirror very close to you. Only then a magnified virtual and erect image can be formed, which can be used as a shaving mirror. Okay, so face is projected, it is quite big. Another use is that when it can form an image at a focus when rays come from infinity. This we are going to deal with. Various rays coming from the infinity, or object is at infinity, we can make an image at focus. Another property is that if the object is placed at focus, the rays will be projected at the infinity. Okay, reflected rays will be at infinity. Let us see them one by one. Uses as a head mirror. A concave mirror is used by ENT specialists. They put the concave mirror on patient's forehead. When the light ray from the light source are reflected from the concave mirror, it is focused into the eye, ear or throat of the patient, making the infected part more visible. So it is used there. Next is convex mirror is used in the ophthalmoscopes. Students, ophthalmoscope is a telescope which is a kind of scope, instrument which is used to check eye. It is used to check surface of retina behind. So that doctor focuses through the small hole behind the concave mirror while a light beam is directed into the pupil of the patient's eye. This makes the retina visible and makes it easy for the doctors to check. Now if you see here, surface of this eye is quite dark from inside, right? Now what will happen? The ray of light will be projected on it, and if it will go inside, this is going to illuminate the surface of retina here, which you can see very easily. What is the problem with the retina? Ophthalmoscope is used for such a purpose. Next is uses of concave mirror in astronomical telescopes. Here again, students, concave mirror are used in making astronomical telescopes also. Look here, this is concave mirror. In an astronomical telescope, a concave mirror of a diameter of 5 meter or more is used as an objective. That is one kind of lens, and this is another kind of lens, that is eyepiece. Okay, now look here, light is projected inside this tube like structure that is moving, going. So rays are coming parallel from a very distant object, maybe from an astronomical astronomical thing like asteroids or a planet. Rays are coming from there, will be projected here on the concave mirror. After reflection, they are collected at a focus and will be projected by the flat mirror toward outside. Here you can see this object. So the image of the astronomical object, that is a planet, will be smaller and clear here. That is where it is used in the astronomical telescopes. Next one is concave mirror are used in headlights also. So concave mirror are widely used in headlight of automobiles. Now students, look here. Generally in headlights of your car, bulb is present, right? That is at the focus of the concave mirror. So light is coming from the focus, will be directed toward the concave mirror, reflected from here, and will form a parallel beam of light. So when you switch on your car, certainly you can see the at a large distance you can see the objects. Okay, so bulb is placed at a focus of it, so that a parallel of beam of light can be projected. Next one is a uses in solar furnace. Students, you can see here just an opposite use of the use as above. Now here rays are coming parallel from the sun. Because sun is at a far distance, rays are parallel. They will be reflected by the concave reflector and will be projected at the focus. Now at the focus we have placed a cooker with the with the cooking things like rice or rice or dal, etc., that will be warmed out just because of this process. Okay, now next I'm giving you an assignment on this one with short answer type questions. Various questions are given here, students, approximately 13 questions, so that you can check your assess yourself what knowledge you have gained from it. So try to do it yourself. Okay, I hope you understood the video. Thank you very much, and once again, like, share and subscribe my video to others. Thank you very much.